Welcome, it's Denome, and welcome to this market update. And in this video, we're going to take a look at Bitcoin, obviously, and altcoin markets specifically, because what we're basically looking at is the potential bottom for the altcoin season, or potential bottom for altcoins and a potential start for the altcoin season. So let's actually just dig in right to what you're looking at here, and I will explain what's going on here. So what we're looking at is the total 2 divided by Bitcoin. And what this means is the total 2 means the total market cap of all altcoins put together, excluding stablecoins. So this is basically showing how valuable altcoins are at the moment. And when we divide it by the market cap of Bitcoin, we get a ratio of altcoins to Bitcoin. And whenever this number is above 1, it means that the altcoin market cap excluding stablecoins is higher than the Bitcoin market cap. And whenever this is below 1, it means that the Bitcoin market cap is higher than altcoin market cap. So number 1 is very significant here. And what we can basically see from the history is that previously from 2014 onwards, altcoins have outperformed Bitcoin by a mile. But that trend basically came to an end here at the 2019 basically. And after that, altcoins went into a bear market, which was actually very short. Basically, you can say the bear market started from here. But then you can see already from this trend line here that once we actually broke above this trend line here, that's when altcoin season really started. And from here, when we take a look at how much altcoins outperform Bitcoin, they outperformed by about 200%. And then we got to the number 1.5, which was the top for altcoins basically from 2021, 2022. And then we were hovering here for quite a while, and until this trend line here broke to the downside, and that's when we went to bear market zone. So now when we're looking at the chart here, you can obviously see some parallels, and the parallels obviously are the RSI. And when we take a look at the RSI, you can clearly see the downtrend when it flipped bullish. And this was basically the time, the signal to actually get into altcoins here. And after this broke to the upside, you can see that's when the trend line also got broken. We were just dancing above this trend line, and then altcoin season basically started. We got the 2020 altcoin run to the upside, and then obviously we had a crash at the end of 2020, and then another altcoin season in 2021. And now when we take a look at the chart, you can see that altcoin market cap has basically lost value 50% compared to Bitcoin market cap. So at least until now, if you just held Bitcoin, you probably outdid almost every altcoin person on the market. And right now we're basically hitting this important support line here. So this is a significant area here, and as you can see, the RSI is already bullish here. What we are also getting is RSI divergence, so this is also bullish. So we got the higher low compared to a lower low on the chart here. So now there's 2 ways how you can actually interpret this line here, and I specifically drew it like this for the start of this video. And the reason is there's 2 ways you can actually draw it. One is like this, where basically we are already at the same exact area that we were during 2020 here. So this would have been an absolutely amazing time to get in altcoins, and especially when we have this RSI bullish divergence here, it's another great time to buy. But there's another way you can actually draw it, and it's like this. So now I don't know which is the right way to actually draw it, but it looks to me that this is actually the more accurate way to look at it. So personally, I wouldn't get heavily into altcoins until we actually get the real confirmation that we are actually above the trend line here, because there's 2 ways you can draw it. I think this is a little bit of a cop-out, because as you can see, the bottoms don't really align here, and then you have the high here as well. So I think this is the more correct way to actually draw this line here. So we got the confirmation on RSI already, but we didn't get it on the actual price here. But as I told you earlier, this was the support line here. So it looks to me that we're about ready to enter altcoin season right about now. So let's see until basically, what is it, July. So 1 month altcoins could still be bearish. We could hit another low here and altcoin could lose value up to maybe 10% even. Well, obviously depends on which altcoin you are in. You could lose even more or less. But all in all, it looks like we're ready to get out of this, let's say, bear zone here for altcoins compared to Bitcoin. But obviously anything can happen. This can also break to the downside. So it's not a guarantee, but as of now, how I'm looking at it, it looks quite bullish in my opinion. So this is for altcoins. Now let's talk about Bitcoin for now. So Bitcoin hasn't done really anything interesting here. Sorry for the confusing lines here. But if you have watched my previous videos, you know exactly where we are. We are still above this long-term trend line here, and it has to hold. It absolutely has to hold. And we can compare that to previous bull runs where we had this short-term trend line here, and once that got broken, then we entered the bear zone basically. And then you could draw another line here, and we went below it. We kind of tried to establish ourselves above it, but the price just couldn't go there anymore. So that's when the real bear market really started. So that's why if we go below this line here, I consider that the bear zone. So as of now, I'm just expecting a bounce from Bitcoin. We already broke this trend line here, and in the short term as well, there was this bearish trend line. There's a couple of ways you can draw it, but all in all, we are above the trend line here on the RSI as well. So Bitcoin looks quite bullish to me. What I got a little bit worried about last week was Warren Buffett. He said that he's out of the market and he's currently holding $180 billion of cash. So I saw a lot of finance gurus on YouTube saying how bearish he is and how bad it's going to be for the markets. But at least on Friday, the traditional markets really didn't crash. So what happened here on Friday is a doji. So this could be a top signal here. So the Monday open is going to be very important to basically give us a signal which way markets are going to be headed. So I don't know where they are going to be headed. The RSI is giving me a signal that no, we're actually in the bull zone. So as of now, I'm still quite bullish, and especially it looks like altcoins might actually have a time to shine as well. We can even take a look at the Bitcoin dominance, which kind of gives the same. It doesn't give me the same signal, but is trying to basically give the same picture as the one we looked in the beginning of this video, which is the Bitcoin compared to altcoin. So this is the market cap of Bitcoin compared to the market cap of all other crypto. The difference here is that this also includes stable coins, not only altcoins. So for this one, we are basically looking at a channel here. And this channel obviously can break to the upside, can break to the downside, but we are currently in the channel here. So this is not really giving me any interesting information, except if you take a look at the weekly view, then we are getting a lower high on the RSI, which is kind of signaling a potential top here. But on the daily, I'm not seeing that. So the daily is actually giving me yeah, this was the top here. I don't know. Doesn't really give me a clear signal. But all in all, Bitcoin dominance chart, you can take a look at this one. You can take a look at the total 2 divided by Bitcoin market cap. And nothing really, these are just lines on paper. Eventually what matters is what people do with Bitcoin. If they want to buy it, if they want to buy altcoins or not, that's the key factor at the end of the day. And sorry for the bright lights, but this is how Google looks like. But Google Trends, you can take a look at. Basically Bitcoin here is at number 17, and it hasn't been number 17 until basically 2023. So people, at least retail investors, are not interested in crypto at all. Crypto is number 7 here, is basically looking at the bear market numbers here on interest of Bitcoin. and crypto. So I think that's just interesting. But when we take a look at long-term holders, so let's actually go over to Santiment here. So Santiment, let's actually go back here and let's go to the Bitcoin metrics. So for Santiment, these numbers are basically the same as in previous weeks. What we are basically seeing is just holding. So when we go below here, there's just one thing. Well, obviously we have more small wallets being created on Bitcoin, that small wallets that have some amounts of Bitcoin in them. We saw the selling ending on these 10 to 100 coin addresses as well, which was nice. But this is the interesting part here. So when we take a look at this chart is giving us obviously the price of Bitcoin, but also the dormant circulation of 1 year wallets. So what this means is this is the amount of Bitcoin which haven't been moved for over a year. And when this line spikes, it means that old Bitcoin is exchanging hands. And that kind of gave us a top signal here. But right now you're looking at a number which is very, very low. So old money already stopped selling. And you can already also take a look at 3-year wallets that have held Bitcoin for more than 3 years and now finally moved some of Bitcoin. It happened here at the peak, but right now we're looking at a very, very low number here. Also, Bitcoin velocity is very, very low as well. So this is the same as my previous update. So old money basically doesn't want to sell anymore. So in my opinion, that also gives us a potential bottom signal. Ethereum is the same. When we take a look at total amount of Ethereum holders, this keeps increasing. And also when we take a look at dormant circulation 365 days, so wallets that have held Ethereum for more than 1 year, when this spikes, it gives us a signal that old money is selling. But when this is very, very low, that means old money is not selling. And as of now, we're looking at a very low number. Obviously, even if, let's say Ethereum just drops here, Bitcoin drops, obviously this is going to change. I think old money will be selling in panic as well. So it doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a bottom, but it just shows me that a lot of sell pressure currently is basically gone. So if we're getting buy pressure from somewhere, I don't know, maybe Ethereum ETF is going to be announced, something like that could be the catalyst for that alt season. So all in all, this is basically the analysis for today. I guess we could take a look at the where is it here? So this is the Ethereum. Let me correct. Bitcoin ETFs. So Bitcoin ETFs, we had a major accumulation here at the start when the ETFs were launched. Then we had a lot of sideways movement. Then we saw some capitulation here, and then just strong buying for almost a week. Then just 1 day of major selling, and on Friday, people actually bought back Bitcoin, even though traditional markets were basically hovering sideways. So people were still accumulating Bitcoin here. So this doesn't really give me any signal, but just kind of interesting to take a look at where we are. If we take a look at the weekly changes, we are seeing we saw last week basically a lot of less sell pressure here. So this could signal that people are ready to accumulate Bitcoin once again. So this is basically the update. For individual altcoins, I don't really want to talk about in this video. There are some altcoins that I have talked about in previous videos. I guess I can just name drop a couple. Self-Key looks interesting. Then Mendy Finance is at the same price before at the time when I made the video about Mendy Finance. It's the UNCX. I saw more people are actually buying it now than before as well. So I'm seeing some life inside altcoins. Solana I would not buy. I think Solana is overvalued at this moment in time. There's even a bearish divergence in the weekly chart if you want to take a look at it. But all in all, if you find the right altcoins, they can do very, very well. If you just want to buy Ethereum and Bitcoin, I think that's very good as well, because they will be able to accumulate a lot of the value, because the problem with altcoins is that the value is so dispersed across so many protocols that we have available right now and so many blockchains. So Ethereum and Bitcoin will be basically able to capture a lot of the value that individual altcoins are not necessarily able to. So all in all, that's update for today. And yeah, look forward for more, and yeah, see you on the next video. Thanks and bye-bye.